Lucifer's rebellion, as it is described in the Urantia Book and other older scriptures, occurred long before Earth was even created. We have already talked about earlier that Ea/Poseidon is the Aryan prince who rebelled against the goddess in heaven. Ea in this sense is Lucifer, while Enlil is Satan, despite the fact that I wrote that Marduk probably is Satan in Level 1, who also rebelled against the forces of light, the mother goddess, and they were both cast out of heaven, Orion, by Archangel Michael, who of course must have been an Aryan mock warrior, or perhaps the symbol for a whole Aryan elite force. Both Lucifer and Satan had their followers, and whether they were Satan's followers, or Lucifer's, they were all what we call fallen angels. The Urantia Book distinguish between Satan, Lucifer, and the devil. They are clearly three different personalities. Translated into hidden history, the devil, Caligastia, corresponds best with Marduk, Ea's son, even if the Urantia Book doesn't clearly tell us so. Marduk, just like Caligastia, was later killed here on Earth, and Alexander the Great, who is said to have been Marduk's hybrid son, saw his father dead in a coffin. However, because these star beings jump bodies, Marduk didn't stay dead for long. In the Urantia Book, paper 53, it says that there was no obvious reason for Lucifer to rebel against the system, and no one suggested such a rebellion to him. The book suggests that Lucifer simply was an advocate of self-assertion and liberty. His manifesto became to teach humankind that the god or goddess did not exist, which became more prominent after the flood, when different religions took form after first had been instigated by Ea's high priests. Eventually, worshipping or dedicating oneself to the mother goddess religion became outlawed or ridiculed, and spiritual darkness reigned on earth. If humans who possessed the fire could freely apply their religion, it could clearly become a threat to the authority. Therefore, the knowledge of the women of fire and the original goal for the human experiment became extremely hidden and only known by a select few, on a need-talk-know basis. But more about this later. What is known is that Ea preferred the Syrian lifestyle and lived most of his life with his stepfather, Anu. He plotted with Satan, Enlil, and put their plan into action and descended to Earth. However, there were also vegans, from the Lyra star system, who supported Ea and Enlil in their rebellion against the mother goddess. This faction of Lyran heritage fled to the Pleiades during the wars in heaven and resided there ever since. So at one point during the Atlantean era, Ea left Earth and went back to the Pleiades to bring some of his loyal officers back with him to Earth. In the Pleiades he showed them holograms of how life was on Earth and that he wanted to use the Lyran/Pleiadian DNA to further advance humankind. When some of the Pleiadians saw how beautiful these women of fire, and women in general, were, they said, let's go down there and have sex. So, instead of just contributing with their DNA to Ea directly while staying in the Pleiades, Pleiadians followed Ea back to Earth to have sex with human women, but also to help Ea with his genetic experiments. These were the 200 fallen angels, Ea included, the Watchers whom are mentioned in the Book of Enoch. Like we discussed earlier, they nano-traveled to here in spirit, took human male bodies, and seduced women to have sex with them. It clearly states in the booklet The Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, which is allegedly originating from the 12 sons of Jacob, that it was not the Watchers in the shape of giants who seduced earth women. Thus, the Pleiadians could manifest as human males and have sex with our women even before they'd had time to genetically create their own human bodies or take baby bodies and grow up here like any normal human. They started with having sex with women in thought, in their minds, but the encounters became more and more physical. Thus they allured the watchmen before the flood, for as these continually beheld them, they lusted after them and conceived the act in their mind, for they changed themselves into the shape of men and appeared to them when they were with their husbands. And the women, lusting in their minds after their forms, gave birth to giants. In the Bible it says they came down here as beautiful male angels, irresistible to many human females. It said they had wings and muscular, attractive bodies. This may very well be true, because with your avatar you can manifest as anything you want if you know how to do it. However, this did not create giant offspring, or any offspring at all for that matter, because using avatars is not like using 3D bodies, it's more like a solid hologram. After a while, the Pleiadians genetically engineered their own 3D bodies, with or without wings, but more commonly, their souls hovered over human females, whom they knew would carry good-looking male offspring, and made sure their soul inhabited the chosen fetus. That way, the fallen ones could be born into human bodies, just like you and I, but grow up with full memories and interdimensional abilities. I am sure these same beings are coming back today and in fact are already here, born into regular human bodies. More than just having sex with human females, they followed EA down to his laboratories under the ocean and they started manipulating Lyran/Pleiadian DNA, the DNA of giants. These offspring became the biblical Nephilim and spread out over the world and settled down both in Mu and Atlantis, among other places, approximately at the same time.